film Marianne is my first feature. It's a micro-budget, kind of like a psychological horror drama. There's a lot of drama in it, but it's kind of influenced by movies like Donnie Darko, American Beauty, Don't Look Now, some Mario Bava, some Italian stuff, and some Swedish stuff. And so it's a mixture of a lot of things, but it's a personal film. There was basically 3 ideas that I was putting together for this film. One of them was that it's my first feature, and this is an idea that came to me back in 2003, I think. And there hadn't really been like a very good, very Swedish horror movie because of the way Swedish films are funded. It's hard to get horror movies funded, so there are very few horror films from Sweden. And I wanted to do like a horror because I like horror and there wasn't any Swedish horror. So that was one thing. The other thing was I wanted to make like a personal film about the place where I grew up, which is a small town, very isolated, very beautiful scenery, and it's kind of special because it's far north, so in the summers it doesn't get dark at all. It's almost daylight, 24 hours a day, and in winters it's the other way around. And you know, it's a very it's kind of special place like that, and it's and for a lot of different reasons. You know, I mean, it's basically kind of like a movie about the place where I grew up. And the third reason was, the third idea was, I wanted to do something that was very Swedish. And I was looking into folklore, and there are a lot of very interesting fantasy type creatures in Swedish folklore. Like you have not just the trolls and, you know, the goblins and stuff like that, and the gnomes, but you have a lot of folklore creatures that have never been actually portrayed on film. Like you have one called Näcken, which is it's like an old man sitting in a stream playing the violin, and he will lure you in, or you can go there. He can teach you how to play the violin. And there's another one called Skogsrå, which is kind of like a siren in the woods. It's like a naked kind of animal woman that will lure you into the woods and you'll never be seen again. Stuff like that. And there's also the mare. And the mare is where the word nightmare comes from. It's basically a woman that is out for revenge, or has never been married, stuff like that, depending on the story. And her body will transform so she's kind of like a shapeshifter, kind of like a werewolf, and she will sit on the chests of men during the night and give them terrible nightmares. And if you wake up and you can't move and you're paralyzed and you feel like someone is sitting on you, there's like a pressure on your chest, that's the mare. And it's called sleep paralysis. In reality, it's a very common phenomenon, and it's really scary. So if you ever do this and you wake up and you feel like there's someone in the room watching you, that's sleep paralysis. So that I just put those ideas together, and that's Marianne. I have a lot of influences taken from a lot of different places. I watched a lot of Hideo Nakata movies. The guy who made Dark Water and The Ring, the original Japanese one. Those are 2 of my favorite films. I think he's absolutely brilliant. The Ring is probably, in my opinion at least, one of the 3 most technically well-made horror movies, together with maybe The Shining and Nosferatu. So I just love it, that film. Roman Polanski, John Carpenter. Like, for instance, there's a scene in Attack on Precinct 13 where where the girl gets shot in the beginning, and it's the way it's shot. It's like very matter-of-factly, kind of, oh, he just shoots her. He doesn't even look at her. That's sort of a kind of a brutality, I think, that you kind of need to have if you're making a horror film. Marianne is, you know, it's not brutal in that way. It's more like a psychological drama thriller, but you still need to sort of have that kind of brutal mentality where you're not being nice to someone, the audience. You're putting them through an experience that's kind of not pleasant, but still nice, if you know what I mean.